Well, you're welcome back to Morning Express. Let's set the ball rolling on the program this morning. Of course, starting off with our first paper or our first guest of this lineup to discuss pertinent issues in the news. We're being joined by Mr. Lukeman Laleye Babaola, who is a publisher at the Emporium Reporters online and as well as Emporium Magazine. A very good morning to you, Mr. Babaola. It's wonderful to have you join us on Morning Express today.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Well, fantastic. We also have on the line Mr. Sam Otuonye, who is the business editor at New National Star newspapers. Very good morning to you as well, Mr. Sam.
Good morning to you.
Quite a very elaborate panel we have here to begin discussions. First things first, biggest story in the news this morning. The Nigerian Senate, we hear, has summoned the National Security Advisor, Malam Noor Ribado, as well as all the service chiefs to talk about a recent allegation made against USAID over its involvement in terrorism financing in the country, talking about funding Boko Haram. Let me start off with you, Mr. Babaola. What do you make of this development, and what was your first reaction when you got wind of the information?
Good morning, Nigerians. Decision taken by the Nigerian Senate is a good one, and I believe inviting the service chief and NSA is a very good measures to take. I'm not surprised when I got the information from the story coming from the congressman, US congressman. So because this has been the insinuation, that terrorism in Nigeria has been financed by the foreign countries. So luckily for us, somebody coming out from the US telling Nigerians that yes, it's true, the terrorism activities is being financed from US. So I believe the Nigerian Senate is taking right direction to unravel those that involved in those things, and how funds coming to Nigeria, to hate terrorism.
Well, let me cross over to you, Mr. The points that Mr. Babaola has made here concerning it being a timely call by the Nigerian Senate is something that many Nigerians believe could have been done earlier than now. Did Nigerians have to wait, or did the Nigerian Senate have to wait until a revelation came from a US lawmaker about something that many Nigerians and many Nigerian journalists have pointed fingers at for many years before they decided to take action? Hello, Mr. Sam?
Yeah. Yes, please. Thank you for having me.
All right.
And good morning, Nigerians. The truth about the matter is, you've just said it all. This thing has been here for a long time. So we didn't need to have one Perry somewhere in the US to tell us what is happening in our country. The summons, for me, it doesn't make sense, because it will still go the other way of other summons. This National Assembly summons, I think, is a window dressing thing. They are not being real about it, and as long as this level of corruption is taking place in this country, before now, this Boko Haram, ISIS, Qaeda, and all these issues have been in the north, and some people have been fingered. Even UAE, some time ago, sent names of people that are backing those things up, and up to today, nothing has happened. So what do you think will happen differently now by these summons? I think nothing will happen differently. It's a game that politicians know how to play, and they're playing it that way. So for me, the summons, it will go the other way of other summons before now.
The summons this time around, Mr. Sam, is not to sort of flog the NSA or the service chiefs over their lack of action towards ensuring that the funding is blocked, but rather to charter a course or find out ways to mitigate this very problematic issue. If you remember very well, the Chief of Defense Staff had cited something similar to this, even though shrouded in some sort of parable. He wasn't directly speaking, but he had cited that there was foreign involvement, sabotage towards the fight against insurgency and terrorism in the country. And now this revelation is coming here. Don't you still think that it is timely and apt?
Yeah, it's timely and apt. My worry is, how are they going to handle it? You see, our problem in Nigeria is not all this, it's implementation. Now, those things have been there, and we, just as you said, journalists have pointed those things out, and other people have said, look, see what is happening in this place. And foreign machineries are part of it. These foreign machineries we are talking about have been here. Even somebody, a Nigerian has said, look, we brought them in from neighboring country. So it's not a case of we don't know or we didn't know. We knew and we know. So the point is, let them do that right thing. When they do the right thing, we'll get results. With all this while, no right thing has been done. Even all the monies that have been pushed to the military to take care of insurgency in the north, Boko Haram and all that, much has not happened. But I want to believe, I want to be optimistic. This is my country. If they are serious now to deal with it, thank God for Trump. Trump has set the ball rolling. If they liaise with him, Perry has spoken. It's just for us to move in as a country, as a sovereign nation, and have an interface with them and get to know more about what really transpired. And the International Court of Justice is there, if there's any need to go there, and sort the things out. So I believe, the summons, good, okay, but implementation must take place. That's what I think.
Well, Mr. Babaola, let me come back to you. If you remember the genesis of how USAID came into the picture in terms of foreign aid towards the country, it was during the administration of former President Barack Obama. And we also remember a video or an interview made by former President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, where he had cited that Obama's over-involvement in the affairs of his administration was quite worrisome at the time. And also, if you link all of these dots, do you think that perhaps there was some sort of conspiracy by the Obama administration towards the administration of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for whatever reason, to ensure that the Boko Haram insurgency comes up and destabilizes his administration, thereby leading to his exit from office? If you also remember, yes, Boko Haram started in 2009 while President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was in office.
Yes, I think what the former president just said about former USA president is quite unfortunate that US that claim to be the world power, helping developing nations, are the one behind all these terrorism activities. So I believe with the Trump administration coming in place now and also setting up an investigative or an inquiry to investigate the alleged terrorism finance in Nigeria is in good order, and this will also unveil so many things for the world to see.
All right. Well, let's hope that that unveiling is done quite quickly, because individuals like Mr. Sam aren't so optimistic about this committee that is being set up or this investigation that's about to be launched. But Mr. Sam, did you get my question thrown at Mr. Babaola just a short while ago about former President Obama's involvement in Nigeria's internal politics and how Did you get my earlier question thrown at Mr. Babaola over former President Obama's involvement in Nigeria's politics during the administration of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan?
Yes, really, I got it.
All right.
See,
carry on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Obama had his own agenda that ran contrary to what Jonathan believed or believes in, right? The gay marriage and all of those, which is not our culture. and Obama wanted to force it on us, and Jonathan said no. I think that is where they had that issue.
The LGBTQ campaign.
Yes. So that is the beginning of Jonathan's problem. And Jonathan didn't want to bow to it because, of course, we are Nigerians, we are Africans. That is not our culture. So bringing such a foreign culture that will damage even the younger generations and the generation to come, wouldn't have been good. You see, Jonathan did some things he did just for posterity. Just for posterity. Not like he couldn't have said, okay, let's join it and let me get what I want. So his refusal really hyped Obama, and Obama thought he could have used so much powers US has, to influence him, and he said no, I'm not going to budge, So I think for Obama, his tenure is over. We are looking at Trump, and Trump is the man that wants to do the right thing. So we'll follow who no road, as it were, as they say it. That is what I think.
But also, let's take a look at it internally now with regards to the number of internally displaced persons in the country, especially in places like Borno State, the most hit and rocked, state in the country when it comes to the Boko Haram situation. Now, the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, had cited that if any agency or non-governmental organization is found wanting or found complicit in all of these allegations, then they have no business being in Nigeria. Now, we all know how helpful they have also been in maintaining the IDP situation, providing, aids in terms of food supplies and all of that, and medical supplies to the IDP camps. What might become of these IDP camps if eventually a good number of these NGOs exit the country?
Thank you so much. You see, you don't throw away the baby and the bathwater. That's the truth. Yeah. If you ask them to go and they go with everything they have, they've been helping us all this while, as you pointed out. So what we need to do is to rescreen them, to come out with some policies and some regulations that will guide their operations. I think that is what we need to do. Nigeria has so many problems that we can't just say, okay, we can do away with you and we'll go on. After all, how much have we done for ourselves, if not for those guys, the foreign aid we are getting? The foreign aids are helping us. So what they need to do, what the National Assembly and the Senate President, what they need to do is to call those people that they think are involved, find out the level of their involvement, and know how they can re-strategize and reinvent the situation so that they will remain, help us, but abide by the tenets of their job. Because their job is not coming to, fuel the problem now. That one is psychophancy. Yeah. So that aspect will naturally be removed from them, and will give them rules of operations, and we follow up. You see, when we give rules of operation, because I don't think that they don't have rules of operations, but implementation, do we follow through? Is that connivance?
That's the biggest question on the table. Implementation.
So asking them to go and all of those. Well, my advice is let them call them to the table and have a discussion with them as per going forward, what they want from them and how they want them to operate. Now, that will help us because we need their help, really.
Now, Mr. Babaola, let me also refresh your memory with regards to USAID's 2025 budget in Nigeria particularly, which targets defense, health, and others. That if USAID should exit the country, Nigeria may miss out on $603 million funding from USAID. In as much as, on one hand, a lot of Nigerians hearing this news want USAID kicked out of the country to put an end to this scourge of terrorism in the nation. On the other hand, we would also be missing out on an enormous amount of money when it comes to funding and aid from USAID. How do we balance this out? Is there a way out from your perspective?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is that Nigeria, as a developing nation, we need foreign aid. So I think what should be done is the office of the NSA to involve in coordinating the affairs of both local and foreign NGOs. There should be proper detailing, proper documentation. because we should look beyond the foreign NGOs. Even those in Nigeria should be scrutinized for us to know
whether they are also complicit in the entire situation.
Yes, because most of them, they got their funding through this foreign, and don't be surprised. This alleged terrorism funding can be coming through them to Nigeria. So there should be proper coordination from the office of the NSA. So we can't just throw out the foreign aids or such as USAID funding. So we need them. We need those foreign aids to tackle some of the issues affecting Nigeria.
Well, certainly we need them to be here to help out with the aids that we need. Now back to you, Mr. Sam. Just before we close the chapter on this particular conversation with regards to the alleged funding of Boko Haram by USAID, are there any other means of coming out of this issue, this troubling issue? 2009 to 2015, that's 16 long years of battling and insurgency in just one region of the country. And I might even add, as it stands right now, the Boko Haram activities that we see are just within Borno State. How is it that the Nigerian military, after more than a decade, going 2 decades now, has not been able to fully and in totality neutralize the insurgency ravaging the Northeast?
Thank you so much. It's a function of leadership. You see, I talk about leadership so much because when we talk about how to move forward in this country, we must have that political will. See, the military have gotten so much funds to tackle this insurgency.
Yeah.
But you find out that some of they were contesting for governorship, in their states. And the question is, where did they get such money to contest for governorship and all of those? So we are Nigerians are sniffing corruption in the whole situation. You see, let me give you an instance of what happened to my cousin, a military guy. The Boko Haram did an attack, and there was a fire. They were gunshots.
Yeah.
In the course of the duel, some soldiers died, and this guy is a pilot. He's an engineer, right? So they had to go to carry those soldiers that were killed. So on getting to that place, see how we are doing here. There was no surveillance, not knowing that those Boko Haram guys were hanging around the place, knowing full well that, look, these guys will come to pick up these corpses. And they shot their plane, and that plane crashed. My cousin died, right? So that situation. So we are not paying attention to details. The leadership of the military actually needs to sit up, because this thing lies in their bosom. If they say, look, this thing we're going to do it today, it will happen. If America could come here and rescue one of their own unscathed, what about us? We are the owners of the land. We are the owners of the forest. And we know the terrain more than Americans. They came and did it. What about us? What are we doing? Imagine that situation would have been highly avoided. Having the intelligence that, look, these corpses that are here, these guys will look around to know when these guys will come and pick them, because that's the normal thing. But nothing happened. Those guys died. My cousin died. So what am I trying to say? They need to up their game. They can do it if they are willing to do it. I think that is what it is.
Well, my deepest and sincerest condolences to you on the passing of your cousin. But still staying with the Boko Haram and its history, we recall that the U.S. Secretary of State back then had designated Boko Haram a foreign terrorist organization as at November 14, 2013. Now, this is in a bid to block the organization's assets and fundraising efforts and prosecute individual members and restrict their travel to the United States as well. Now, at some point, it appeared that international funding for Boko Haram had been blocked at from certain places. thereby making them resort to imposing fines, taxes, and levies on people living in certain communities, the same modus operandi that we now see bandits in the Northwest adopting. If the US could take the issue of Boko Haram so seriously, so as to track down the source of its funding, yet Nigeria deems it fit for certain, in quote, repentant Boko Haram members to be rehabilitated and reintegrated into the society. Are we really serious about this fight against insurgency? And do we really want to end it?
Thank you so much. You see, the question is very wonderful because are we really serious? How do we know? What psychology, what tests do we put in place to be sure that these people have actually repented? Is beyond us. It's a spiritual issue, right? So what I'm trying to say is that they should stop that situation. That amnesty is not right. That people that have killed so many people, people that have ravaged a country, people that have ravaged a state and states should be pardoned because they said, "Oh, I've surrendered my arms and ammunition." I think that thing is elementary. It's an elementary way
Hello, Mr.
of
Sam?
treating a very serious weakness.
Hello, maybe you could check from your end if you are audible. If your audio is, if your mic is turned on, your voice seems to have sort of gone down.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. What I said is this, that the situation is very bad, where you say, "Oh, these guys have repented," and these are guys that have done so much evil, so much criminality. And you say that they've repented. And you know, when Jonathan was in power, he said, "Oh, that even in the military, that Boko Haram has infiltrated it." And how do they come in? They come in by way of this repentance thing. You know, they come in by way of repentance. A criminal is a criminal. Treat him as such, particularly the extent and the level of carnage they've done to Nigeria and Nigerians. You don't treat them with kid gloves. No, you treat them as criminals and give them their place. That is what it should be. So the repentance thing shouldn't allow anybody to say, "Come in and join the army, come in and join the police." Now, that is a very wrong way to address this.
Let me skip over to you now, Mr. Babaola. Just before we carry on to other matters, Mr. Sam has shared his sincere thoughts concerning the rehabilitation and reintegration of Boko Haram or repentant Boko Haram members back into the society. Do you think this is a move in the right direction by the Nigerian government, especially at a time when you cannot really ascertain whether or not these insurgents have truly left their old ways and vices behind?
Thank you very much. The truth of the matter is this: those guys, they don't need our pity. They don't deserve mercy, because some of them, you know, they killed aimlessly and kind of brutally, killing innocent people. At the end of the day, we now embrace them. Okay, come, you have repented, come and be part of the society, the same society that they destroyed. So to me, look at what happened in Zamfara. The last administration, you know, they invited them and kind of allegedly gave them some money, and they went back, used that fund to purchase weapons, and started fighting the government and killing people here and there. So to me, the issue, they should be prosecuted and get desired justice. So we don't need all this de-radicalization and integration of these guys in the society. We don't need them because they are against the society, Nigeria as a nation.
Now, sometimes the argument could be the fact that some of them were not necessarily, part of the founding fathers of Boko Haram or the founding members of Boko Haram, but were sort of, prisoners of war who were forced and were left with no other choice than to pick up arms and join their captors. Is there a way or a modality to, sort of differentiate between the hardcore Boko Haram terrorists and these innocent or younger ones who have just been forcefully indoctrinated into the line of terrorism?
Well, that is left for the military to decide. They should know how to, or if there's a way for them to detect those who are truly involved, who were truly involved, and those who are not, who were not part of the insurgency. So who were not fully involved in insurgency. So it's left for them to decide.
Well, certainly. Let's move on to other issues in the news now. Mr. Sam, this one is coming towards you with regards to the local government autonomy situation. We recently saw the Attorney General of the Federation as well as the EFCC boss, sending very stern and strong warnings to Nigerian governors across the nation, as well as the 774 local government council bosses, citing that if anything goes wrong with regards to the fiscal allocation to LGAs, it's a treasonable felony and they could be charged, especially the local government bosses who do not enjoy the immunity that the governors currently do enjoy. What do you make of this? Why do we have to be so authoritarian when already the Supreme Court ruling has been passed?
Thank you so much. Actually, it is laughable. That's the truth. I read about Security and Exchange Commission coming up to give them some rules of how to spend their money and how to invest it and all of those. I say, why all this? Why are they after these local government people? This country, there are so many funny things. Governors have been enjoying those funds and they don't want to let go. So they are the people that are triggering all these things. They are the people that are inciting this whole thing. I mean, just as you said, Supreme Court has ruled on it. Why not let them be? They should let them be. Whether they have immunity or not. The point is that they are executive chairmen of local governments and executive officers. They should. It's the people that will take them on account. Not the government officials and the courts anymore. Because they are working for the people. Yeah, right? So the people, if they are not doing well, the people will say, look, you got so much of money and you didn't do anything, no road, no this, no infrastructure, no this. It is the people that should speak. They should allow them first to take off. They don't even want them to take off. That's the point. Why not allow them take off and now see how they will run and see how people will react? Now
this local government autonomy situation has caused quite a stir in the country. Case study is the Osun State situation that has left a former local government boss as well as about 7 other people dead following escalation of violence when, an appeal court judgment had reinstated the ousted local government council chairman back into office. Now we hear today that despite the crisis currently rocking Osun State, those APC local government chairmen, about 17 of them or so, have gone back to the council secretariats to assume office in the midst of all of this.
You see, it's still the same thing we are talking about. Why the hula baloo over local government is because they've given them money. And that is what is causing the whole problem. Governors want to take charge. In fact, let me tell you something. In some states, governors have already signed their resignation letters. Because if the governor, the local government chairman have signed their resignation letters with the governor, so that if you mess up, they'll just use it and remove you. They've given that. As a matter of fact, people need to speak up concerning this issue. Those that have intelligence on this local government thing should speak up, because we need to stop this. This doesn't work in a democracy where you create a situation, you create an office, and you still hold back that office. You can't do that. They should allow them run. What is happening in Osun is very appalling. It's very appalling. So this issue of and you see the ruling party too, APC, is not helping matters because they feel they have everything it takes to do whatever they want to do, and they're using it to destabilize the nation. They should allow local government people be for now. Let them even take off and let's see what they will do. Why so curious about? I mean, what is strange about the situation? It's all about money, all about corruption.
Well, according to the statements coming in from the EFCC and the AGF, it's about You know, the fact that some governors want to take over the local government councils and the funding that will be directly sent to them from, you know, the fiscal allocation, in as much as they are administratively autonomous, they would not necessarily be financially autonomous. And the federal government is saying that that is a treasonable felony, and that any governor found or caught doing that would have to face the wrath of the law, perhaps when he exits office.
I agree with that position. Any governor that tries it, they should prosecute after he leaves office. That is what it should be. Let them know that, look, this thing cannot continue. You know, they've done this thing over the years, and they think it's their birthright. It is not. Now that the people, is it not the president that said, look, we don't want this, even when they voted, you know? So they should let them be. Governors should go and do their work. They have their own allocation. They can't take everything. They're getting so much powers because of immunity and all of those. And you know one thing that is behind all this? The thing that is behind all this is that even when they leave the office and they're summoned for, you know, misappropriation and all those, at the end of the day, they go scot-free. See what happened to Kogi, past governor. You know, so yeah, assuming the law is taking its course upon these people and they're going to jail and all of those, all these issues would have stopped. So we really need to nip this thing in the bud. Thank God for what the CJ has said.
Yeah.
If they go out of power, they should try them. They should prosecute them for whatever reason that, you know, made them go into the coffers of the local government administration. It is very wrong, and I agree with that.
Well, Mr. Babaola, back to you. What do you make of governors? Yes. You know, that are already pocketing local government council chairmen in their pockets and dipping their hands into the coffers of the local government council allocation that will be, you know, released to the local government councils very soon by FARC. In the midst of all this argument, what is your perspective towards this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say that I'm 100% in support of whatever measures federal government is taking to ensure proper implementation of physical allocation to local government. That is number one. Then number two, I remember while growing up, you know, every local government in my state, you see road construction done by the local government.
Yeah.
You know, BO and other things then. But that has become history. You know, when you go to that same place now, you see the roads in a deplorable state. So, because the governors have succeeded in muzzling the local government chairman, so they dictate to them, they give them whatever they want, and if anyone there talk, it will become issue. I remember that same my state, you know, one of the chairman was suspended simply because he protested against this issue of giving them what they like. That is from the governor. The governor release whatever he believes is the best for them, and pocket the remaining amount of this thing. And people will ask, you have your allocation. What are you doing with your allocation? But they could not provide the explanation because the money remained with the governors. So the best thing, government should take measures as they are taking now and ensure that whatever that is being given to local governments should be properly implemented and monitored.
Well, how about local government council chairmen who are in bed with their state governors? When we talk about being in bed, I'm talking about the ones that were handed down the position of chairmanship as a means of compensation or as a means of reward for being loyal or loyalists to the governors in those states. The ones that really do not even care about the financial or administrative autonomy whatsoever, as long as the governor throws down some crumbs of bread to them for them to enjoy, it's okay with them. How do we tackle those bad eggs amongst these 774 local government councils?
Yes, the truth remains that, any of them that compromise or conspire with the state governor, to siphon local government allocation or mismanage the funding, or the allocation will have himself to blame. Because with these measures being taken by federal government involving EFCC, ICPC, and Office of the Attorney General, I believe the local government chairmen, will be on their toes and ensure proper implementation and transparency when regarding to the physical allocation to their respective local government council.
All right, Mr. Sam, back to you now. Your final comments on this LG autonomy situation before we move on to other topical issues in the news.
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, I will tell you this. You were talking about the local government chairman hobnobbing with the governors and all of those. Yes. You see, this whole thing, there's a foundational problem. During the local government elections, it was the governors that selected, not elected. Those guys were not in my state, for instance. Do you know how the result of local government elections, how the results were announced? So local government, this person won. There was no figures attached to the winning. That's what happened in my state. So the whole election was a charade, right? It was a charade. And in fact, as a matter of fact, it started from the election. It started from that selection they did. If I had selected you, that guy, look, you're going to be the local government chairman for me in this local government. Of course, I have every hood over you.
Yeah.
I will detail for you and all of those. That's why I said earlier that I'm aware that some local government chairmen had signed their resignation letters, some undertaking with the governors. And if they make nonsense, if they do nonsense, they will impeach them. That is what they're going to do. So the truth about the matter is, this thing that the federal government has said now, that they will face treasonable felony in court after they must have left office, is a very good one. It's an indication that the federal government is interested in the welfare and well-being of the local government councils. And that will help a great deal. Even though, yes, however, the governors that had even committed more atrocities than embezzling the local government funds, as we're talking about it now, nothing happened to them. So for me, it's neither here nor there. But because I'm an optimistic Nigerian, I want to believe that there will be change. And this change, by God's grace, will come. The federal government has spoken, and let's see how they will implement it.
Quite optimistic takes you have there, Mr. Sam. Let's hope that the LG autonomy comes to stay and Nigerians get to enjoy the dividends of democracy at the grassroots as they should. Well, moving on to Lagos State, with the Lagos State House of Assembly crisis taking a different twist. I see you smiling already, Mr. Sam. It appears that you've been following the story quite closely. Now, the twist this time around is about rumors that Princess Mojisola Miranda wants to resign from her position as the Speaker of the House of Assembly. On the other hand, there have been allegations and accusations of firearms being found in the office of the ousted Speaker, talking about Mudashiru Obasa. Claims that he has refuted very vehemently. What do you make of this drama unfolding at the Lagos State House of Assembly?
Yeah, is a case of the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob. I think that is what it is, because Obasa is a very strong politician, and he's not acting alone. He is not acting alone. Yeah, everybody has sensed the fact that he's not in good terms with the governor, and the governor wants to show that, look, the state, I'm the CEO of this state, so I can say what will happen here. And because the guy, the Obasa, is drawing powers from above, is making the governor not to succeed as easily and quickly as he wants it. Even this woman, that's the rumor that she wants to resign, she's under pressure. She's under pressure, and in fact, it's like a push forth and a push back. That is what's going on there. Power that be, one is higher than the other. But what I think that will happen in that state at the end of the day is both the woman and Obasa, for there to be peace in that state, will not be Speaker of that house. Because if any of them be, it will affect the integrity of the powers that be, because one power is for the woman, the other one is for Basa, right? So what I think is a very wonderful drama, and I'm waiting to see how that drama will end, because a state like Lagos, that is a pointer in this country, having this kind of drama at this time where the president, is their own, right? And the governor is president's own, president's son.
And Obasa is also the president's own and son as well.
Oh, so you understand where I'm going to. So the truth about the matter is a very wonderful drama, and we watch for it to really unveil fully, because these sons and their father, something must give. Something must give.
Mr. Babaola, it's about a father and two sons, and of course, Mr. Sam had cited the parable or the example of Esau's voice and Jacob's voice and Esau's hand. What do you think would unfold at the end of the day? The governor is in the picture, the ousted speaker is in the picture, and of course, Princess Miranda, who has been thrown into the ring with all of these elephants battling it out.
Governor Sanwo-Olu is, I think, to me, is trying to, be in charge of his administration.
Yeah.
While the other interest group backing Obasa, also they are also trying to grab the power and kind of be the one to dictate whatever that is happening in Lagos State. So they all belong to the same political class, the same political family, so to say. So I believe they should be able to iron it out. But the truth of the matter is that Obasa is a strong ally of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the president has intervened, but it seems the governor camp, they are not ready to sit ground. The truth remains that Obasa may likely get it back.
You think Obasa will get it back? Why are you so strong and certain about this?
Yes, because Miranda, she allegedly resigned, and maybe due to the fact that the pressure from her own camp, she denounced it and said, yes, no, I'm still in charge.
When you say she allegedly resigned, do you have a copy or do you have proof that Miranda had resigned? Because she came out and clearly stated that there was no resignation letter from her, and that she is still the Lagos State House of Assembly Speaker. These are her words.
To be honest with you, the woman, she's not bold enough. She will say this and kind of being jittery, to even to maintain a position. So look at what happened to this issue of discovery of catches of farms, and Obasa was not around. Somebody occupied the office, and later some people came up with the allegation that they discover ammunition and other things in that same office. So they can't fool us. We know what is happening. But in a week time, something will, something interesting will also happen. We'll know where we are heading to in terms of Lagos State.
Do you care to let us know what this interesting unfolding that would happen in about a week's time is? We would love to know.
Somebody will take over. You understand? Is that two of them? We will be asked to forget about the ambition of becoming the speaker, or one of them will remain as a speaker. So they are the same, just like I said, they have the same political family. So it's just a class of interest. The governor camp and the other camp, backed by backing Obasa. That is the president camp, so to say.
All right, Mr. Sam, you have heard it from Mr. Babaola. He has his reservations with regards to the speakership of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and he seems to be throwing his weight behind Obasa and is very confident that he will return. whereas you are confident that at the end of the day, both of them might not even retain the seat and there might be a new person. Your final thoughts on this situation before we let you go?
Yes, thank you so much. You know why I said two of them should go is for peace to reign in that state, because the governor is still there, and we are talking about the president in Abuja and the governor in Lagos. Yes, the president has an upper hand in this matter, being the president. But for peace to reign in Lagos state, they should do the right thing. And the right thing, I think, is let them bring a neutral person to go in. After all, these other two guys are still members of the House of Assembly. What is in contention is the speakership. And the speakership must be one person, right? So they can still remain as members of the House of Assembly. Let a neutral person be ushered in, and there will be peace. Everybody will rest. That is what happens in a situation like this. For you to achieve peace is to ask both parties that are in contention to step aside and let's get a neutral person. I think if they go that way, there will be peace in Lagos State.
All right, quite a very valid point you've made there, Mr. Sam, but I must thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having this discussion with you, cutting across many different topics in the news this morning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, that has been Mr. Sam Otuonye, who is the business editor, New National Star Newspapers. Mr. Lukeman, it's also wonderful to have you join us and lend your wealth of knowledge into these discussions. Hopefully, we will have you again in the studio next time for more discussions.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Good morning, Nigeria, once again.
All right. Well, that was Lukeman Laleye Babaola, publisher, Emporium Reporters Online and Emporium Magazine.